Hello everyone. You can call me Hypervoidal, Hyper, or Michael, whoever you feel like calling me. And basically, I just came back from college a few weeks ago, and here I can tell you my experiences for my first year for a game design degree, I guess. If you're looking to go into game design for college, you come to the right place because I believe I have a lot of important information that you should be aware of before going to college for this. Please do watch to the end if you're interested in this, but otherwise, I guess you can see what it was like for me 1 year of college, I guess. Let's talk about first impressions. I did not have the best first impressions of this because I was basically looking at like college courses or college degree programs. I saw something called a game design degree, and I was like, "Wow, that's stupid." You know, I feel like most people would probably be like, "A game design degree? That sounds amazing." But for me, I'm like, "No, mm-mm." Why I still decided to go for game design, we'll talk about that later. But I still think it sounds stupid. And why do I think a game design degree sounds stupid? Well, because, first of all, it sounds stupid. Like, imagine telling someone you're going to college for, I'm going to college for game design. Yeah, I'm really sure that everyone's going to be like, yeah, good job. No, probably not. Unless if they have no idea what game design is, and I don't think that's good either. So, yeah. The second reason why I think game design sounds stupid for a degree, because in practice it is. Before college, I was making a game, and it required a lot of learning on my behalf, but, basically I learned everything I needed to know to make a game. And now apparently there's a game design degree. So, for someone who comes into college for game design, already making a game, already knowing the fundamentals of like a 3D program, like, pretty much everything. Let's talk about why I decided to go, I guess. One would be because I can't afford it. Definitely be cautious about how expensive this is, and if you can reasonably afford it, or if you're going to have to like work or take loans, for example. I could afford it because I'm not going to an extremely expensive art school. I'm just going to like a normal school, I guess, that has like a specialized program inside of it. It's not like the focus. So that could have an impact on the pricing. Second would be scholarships. I got fortunate enough to get a scholarship that helped me with the tuition and stuff. So the third would be because of my parents. Obviously, if I had enough money I made myself to go to college, do you think I would be going to college? Probably not. Anyways, I'm really grateful that I'm able to even go to college and be able to afford it. So, yeah, and the second reason why I would want to go to college as well is because there are people who would have similar interests in me, right? So this means like, people who are also presumably making the game, or at least like making arts, or anything related to that. I thought that would be the place I would find people who are interested in the same stuff. There are, of course, online communities out there, and if you want to meet them in person, you go to like indie game dev cons, but it makes it a little bit easier when you're on campus and there are people there. It's at a walkable distance, I guess. And also because back at home, not a lot of people really do stuff I want to do. So I had to, this was pretty much something that I did completely on my own, and just, I didn't really have anyone to like give me advice outside of like a few people. It's like, Well, what am I even supposed to do sometimes? And I'm not saying that going to college is going to provide you with all these opportunities, I guess. Like, you have to act on it. You have to, like, go out of your way to meet people. But, yeah, again, it does make it a little bit easier. So, that is one extra incentive. The third reason is so I I can make this video, right? Because I feel like so many people romanticize the idea of going to like a game design college. And it's like, um, are you being paid to do this? Because I don't think that's the reality of it. And yeah, I'll just be completely honest with you about it. But before I get into it, not every college is going to be like the one I'm going to. There may be colleges that focus exclusively on like game development. There's other colleges that like the one I'm going to, that one is not exclusively focused on it. So yeah, there are different types of colleges out there. I could make another video on that. But I guess for clarification, I am in the US. I'm at a standard 4-year college. And it's not like an art school. And basically just a small section of that college is designated for. Some colleges also have like either like absolutely no work intensity, while some others will be, extremely workaholic. And for me right now at least, it's probably in the middle. But next thing, let's go into the classes I took. Alright, for the classes, the most disappointing part of my first year of college was obviously the general education classes. And this is even after I took multiple dual enrollment classes. I still had more than 50% of it is general education, and it sucks. It's just, I know it's to make you a well-rounded individual, but I don't want to pay $80,000 to be a well-rounded individual when I could just learn that for free. That's the irony of it, because game development is also something that can be learned for free. So, but still, at least, considering the fact that I would want to go to school for game development, that the classes would be for game development, but no. I have to take general education classes, so that's always fun, isn't it? It's to me a waste of time and a waste of money. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people have the same opinions, especially when it comes to any standard for your university, regardless of your degree program, right? It's just something we all have to do, I guess. And it's not fun, but hey. Besides the general education classes, let's talk about the few major classes, the classes that are from my degree path. Yeah, that's actually the next disappointment that I had. And it would be because usually colleges are like, hey, I want you to take general education classes before you take the major classes, because I don't think you're ready enough. Either that, or for my case, I had to take like 4 introduction classes for my first year, even though I could clearly be exempt from it. And that's because the next class I'm going to take next year is a review class, where they see the stuff I make and determine whether I'm able to take the advanced level classes. So even though I could have already passed that upon entering university, I had to waste 4 classes to do it because I have to take it for my degree path. Basically, you're probably going to be wasting 2 years of your life learning fundamentals that you already learned, at least in my case. Either learning fundamentals or not even taking major classes at all. It's why I would actually recommend going to a community college, if possible, to just take the general education classes out of the way. And I know some of you might be thinking like, oh, but I'm not gonna make friends. What about the professors there? Oh, that's the next thing I'm going to be talking about, ironically. At least for me, there are professors that teach the classes, right? But for the introduction classes, a lot of the time, since, at least for my school, there are not enough professors to go around to teach everyone. Graduate assistants often teach the classes for the introduction classes. So you're not even getting classes from the professors until your junior or senior year. And you're probably not going to know them unless if you go directly to talk to them, which I would recommend, by the way. A lot of people don't. Just because you don't take a class with a professor doesn't mean you shouldn't talk to them, right? Especially if it's like a game design university. But still, professors vary, I guess. Professors are obviously going to be the ones with the most experience, considering they work in the industry, right? We're all students. We aren't in the industry, hence why we're students. So we pretty much have to rely on the professors. Just kidding. Other than like industry speakers, the professors are going to be the ones that you should talk to, I guess. And probably grad students as well. But yeah, some professors are, most professors are good at what they know, but some are really bad at what they teach. You may get a good professor, you may get a bad professor. It really depends. Yeah, it just really sucks for freshmen and sophomores because you are going to be plagued with general education classes. Your professors may not even be there until you take higher level classes. And at least for my case, my degree path kind of locks me in, so I have to take all these unnecessary classes, right? Oh yeah, something I forgot to mention, but let's talk about the actual class content itself. I feel like some people have this idea that going to game dev college is going to give you some divine knowledge that no one else is ever going to be able to teach you. Clearly that would probably justify the extremely expensive rates of college. But unfortunately, or fortunately, probably fortunately, that is not the case. You can learn everything you can on YouTube. And guess what? The classes pretty much sometimes explicitly show YouTube videos made by other people because it's better. It's a better way of teaching sometimes. And, guess what? If you don't know what to do, guess where you're going to go? YouTube. That is your first thing that you should be doing. And that's a very easy way to get quick answers to your problems rather than, you can of course talk to the professors or whoever's teaching, but sometimes they may be like, you know what, go on YouTube. And there's really not a better way of teaching it. You can give tips and guidances, but there are some things that you have to learn by yourself. And YouTube is one of the best ways to do it outside of your own experience, of course. But a lot of this is going to be professors or teachers teaching the minimal stuff, like giving the class assignments, forcing you into a group project. You should not want to be forced into a group project, by the way. You should be wanting to work with other people outside of class, but just doing the bare minimum is going to teach you the bare minimum, obviously. Yeah, it is. Just in case, if it isn't obvious, there's nothing in these classes that I've took so far that I couldn't have learned by myself. And in fact, I was probably learning things on my own to convince myself that essentially I was learning stuff when I was not really learning a lot in class, right? For example, I had this class where I had to do like a 2D turnaround of a character. And I'm like, wow, I'm not really learning anything from this, so I might as well just make a 3D character out of it. No one asked me to do that, but allowed me to do stuff that I didn't do before. So, it also comes with like making personal deadlines and stuff like that, which again isn't what they teach, but just something you should always keep in mind. Don't rely on the professors and the classes to teach you everything. Alright, let's talk about classmates, or the type of students you're going to find alongside yourself. Um, for a first year, it very much depends, I guess. You know, a lot of people, I feel like, are gamers and not game designers, and they sign up for something that they did not want. They did not, like, prepare for, I guess. For example, in one of my classes for this game design thing, like, I guess the teacher was going over, like, Unreal Engine's interface, and everyone was like, "Whoa, what is this 3D software? It's like a video game, me moving through it." And I'm like, "Oh, so that's who I'm working with. Great." I mean, granted, there are different concentrations, and not everyone is going to be doing like game design stuff, but it's slightly concerning just to see that everyone is just now seeing what Unreal Engine is as a software or something like that, or even as just like a 3D engine in general. It's just okay then. Um, but there will be some people who already have like experience. Me. There's also other people there. There are going to be smaller amounts, I guess. Of course, there's going to be people who will take this as an opportunity to learn a lot as they continue to go through college, right? But wouldn't it be so much easier if you already knew everything? So you could focus more on like refining your stuff and doing personal projects or making a business or something like that. But it's really important to, prepare yourself before you go into college for game design, so you don't have to waste so much time learning the fundamentals. And it also makes it easier for everything else. Let's just say you want to work on a project with someone else, right? But neither of you know what to do. And it's a lot harder for me too. Let's just say if I am making a project and I want other people to work with me, chances are if they know absolutely nothing, I'm going to have to do everything, and it just makes things really hard. For example, there's actually this game I'm making. I'll put up here. I made it with someone else that has a similar skill set, and we both made this in 3 weeks. I was like responsible for like the character and its animation. I could make another video about that, but basically I was able to work with this other person, and it turned out really well. However, if it was someone with no experience, yeah, it would not turn out like this, or I would do absolutely everything, right? Yeah, and because it went so well, actually, I do actually plan on turning this into a commercial project that I plan to sell. Like we both discussed it, and that's where it seems to be going right now. But it makes it a lot easier to work with someone that knows what they're doing. And it makes it a lot easier, especially in terms of especially when it comes to like commercial stuff, I guess. Just having someone that knows what they're doing and that can do their job. Yeah, again, if you don't know what you're doing, my recommendation is to either rethink about what you're here for, I guess, or think about what it is you really want to do, and just learn more about the stuff, because college is not going to teach you this. It's going to teach you the very fundamentals, but it's not going to teach you how to be creative. It's not going to teach you. It's not going to force you to make your own game, for example, if you want to make games, because there are people that I would have seen in this portfolio class like tell the professors that they want to make a game, but they haven't in all of their 4 years. So if you don't want to end up like that, just keep on doing things outside of class, I guess. Especially like in this industry, like please don't look like a student. Like that's like the worst thing you can do to yourself. Let's talk about other stuff. Like other stuff outside the classroom. What's that? Well, you better be doing stuff outside of college if you're majoring in art or game design. Because if you're in game design, literally make games or anything related to it, because that is going to make you learn through experience that college is not going to teach you. Oh, just because college isn't teaching you something doesn't mean it's not needed. In fact, there are quite a lot of things that college is not going to teach me that I pretty much need. My degree program doesn't go over like C++ code much at all. It goes over like Unreal blueprints, which is like the baby version of it, right? Yeah, there's just a lot of things that college is not going to teach you, especially like when it comes to like making your own business and selling games, doing Kickstarter stuff. Like, I feel like college is going to, if you're a specialist, college is going to be hard because it's going to teach you all this unnecessary stuff, all these unnecessary programs in the beginning, right? And if you're a generalist, it's also going to suck because you're just not going to learn much at all about the stuff, I guess. I guess that's like a very bare bones version of it. And then probably you're going to be forced to like take only like one or two roles because I guess professors at least want me to specialize in something. It's just like an identity crisis between generalizing and specializing, and what should I even do to be employable, but also do the stuff I want to make, because I want to ideally make games, but I also want to get a job. So it's like, it's a little bit hard to deal with that, but also be aware of some things. Like, let's talk about commercial licenses. Let's say you want to make a game. For example, that game project I'm working on, right? I was very careful of who I was working with because of the commercial licenses. When you are working in an educational institution and you're using educational software, you actually are not allowed to use that for a commercial product legally. And I don't want to get sued. So if I want to work for someone, it would either be some garbage that I would want to throw away that I don't care about, or something that I would want to take further. And since I'm with someone that doesn't use like the educational licenses from the computers, it's more of a possibility that this can be taken further. Because you actually can't buy yourself out of a educational license. If you ever made something with an educational license, that's ground to being sued, basically. And I don't want that, And it also makes it harder to work with other people. Because all the software that's being taught, I guess, in school seems to be like paid software, and that's locked, and I don't know, it's just, you would think that your tuition, the extremely expensive tuition and like college costs would cover it, and it does kind of, but you could very well get all the perpetual or subscription-based softwares you need commercially at a fraction of the price it takes to like go to college, I guess. But apparently you can only have an educational access to it. It's just be careful about it. And also, like if you're freelancing or doing anything else, just learning new software is very helpful. It makes it a lot easier to work with other people. Because if I want to help someone work on the game, but the only software I used was an educational license, that's not going to fly. Unless if you only plan to not sell it or something. Also, another thing is socialization. Yeah, I would recommend to socialize. Because a lot of people, like, don't. It's just, if you don't socialize, why are you even going to college? Like, that's like the best, that's probably the best thing that college is for, ironically. Making networks, making friends with people that have similar interests, because that is what's going to be the difference between you being just another person on a spreadsheet of 100 applications. 100? Oh, sorry, I meant like 1,000 applications for a job. You know, just getting to know someone personally is going to make so much, it's going to be so much easier for you. And also, you can get to know a lot of cool people. And this goes with like classmates as well. You know, some classmates will go into the industry, right? Ideally, all of them, but you know, as seeing as the industry is competitive as it is, yeah, some of them will get into the industry, and they can recommend you because friends. Does that make sense? Hopefully, it does. You know, also just getting feedback. You know, for example, I have like games I'm working on. I show it to people. I show it to professors, and I get their opinion on it. On it. Some professors want me to stop working on my game and only specialize in something, and some of them want me to continue it. Some of them have advice for what to do. You know, take it all with a grain of salt, but it's very important to get feedback on your stuff, so you aren't just releasing something out of nowhere, I guess, and you haven't really gotten any feedback. I mean, it should be self-explanatory, right? And this applies to like portfolio, for example. Show professors your portfolio, and they will tell you if it's bad or not. I have a portfolio. It's not professional, hence why I'm in college. And yeah, it's just something I need to figure out in the next 4 years. Or make my own game studio. Or both. It's hard. But oh gosh. Yeah. Also, you know, I know a lot of people are not going to be extroverted. The typical person that goes to college for game design, probably not a very social person, aka me. But you know, showing people your stuff, or at least telling people what you want to do and taking action upon that, that's going to make you stand out, and it's going to make a big difference, right? Like, please socialize. If you don't, why? Literally, why are you even going to college? Especially since, like what I said, the knowledge that you're going to learn is going to be very bare bones, and you're going to take a lot of gen ed classes. It's just like, why? Also, when it comes to like indie game development, you know, the stuff that I want to do, not a lot of people are doing it. It is a little bit disappointing. There's probably like a handful of people that do it, like this many, probably less, at least in terms of people that I met. Yeah, there was this one person that like already made a business, and we made a Kickstarter for his game. Yeah, just having that one person that is doing stuff that you're doing, it means a lot to just have that one person that's doing the stuff you want to do, I guess. So, but you have to look for it. You know, you have to go to the person. You have to talk to them, right? And if I weren't to do that, I would uh, probably be in this video saying, "Oh, there's not a lot of things to do in college." Oh, there is. You just have to look for it. You know. Of course, you don't need college to do this. You can always go to conventions and whatnot. But there are going to be some people that do it and that you can walk to and you can talk to them, I guess, on campus. But great, let's talk about the industry. I know you may be disappointed that solely going to college for game design is not really going to help you get a game design job. In fact, you're probably not going to get a game designer job for your first job unless you really are doing a lot of things on your own. Definitely not like a student. Um, yeah, I mean, theoretically, you should be getting a job, game design degree, game design job. But it just doesn't work like that. It's not like engineering, for example, where you get like internships, get all these opportunities. That's like a very you know where you're going, right? But in game design, it's like you have no idea where you're going, but you really should try to, I guess. Yeah. The industry is very. Gosh, I'm speaking way too much for this, for my own good. But when it comes to art-related jobs, it is extremely competitive, and to the point where it's like it doesn't even matter where you go to school. Some employers probably even outright dismiss you when you say that you come from a game design degree for game design college or something like that. It just, I don't know, it just looks bad. It makes you look like a student. And, I talked to a professor about it. It's kind of funny, right? Uh, you go to college and you don't want to show that you're a student, right? Alongside that, the industry obviously has a lot of layoffs. You think you're competing with your class. Oh, no. You are competing with practically thousands of people that are pursuing this on their own, as well as the people that are being laid off, as well as, gosh, AI taking over the industry, automating everything. Provides less job opportunities for newer people. And it's like the few job opportunities that are available is like, am I going to hire a recent college graduate or someone who got laid off and already has experience? I wonder. It's just really hard because it's the unfortunate reality of the situation of the industry. And yeah, it's to the point where I don't even know if like comparing yourself to juniors in the industry is even enough, because those are the people being laid off. It just sucks. And genuinely, when I say it is depressing for everyone. And you're gonna have to like go through a lot of like imposter syndrome. I know it's a little bit sussy to say that, but still, it's really depressing and it's really stressful. But it seems like a lot of people don't even realize that and aren't doing anything outside of class. So it's just please value your time, because if not, you are probably going to end up as a junior or a senior trying to compensate for all the time that you didn't act upon, I guess. And you don't want to end up as a college graduate in game design without getting a job in the industry, right? And the best way to ensure that is to only do the classes that you're taught, right? Yeah, I know. A lot of the stuff that I said might be a little depressing, I guess. Just like the amount of work you need to do to like get a job in the industry. And like I constantly worry about it alongside, AI. But don't let that you can still have fun in college, I guess. You can still, like I said, socialize with people. Not just so you can get a job. In fact, I'd probably not recommend that. But just to like build connections with the professors and make friends with the students and stuff like that, right? Just talk to people that are doing the stuff you want to do, and if you're truly dedicated to what you want to do, then I do believe it will be fine. Hopefully, you will be able to get a job or make some source of income by the time you graduate, but just have that mindset where you want to learn and you keep on learning outside of the classroom, right? Just be aware that the industry is tough, but like, what else can you do? I know people worry about AI and that taking over, but you can't stop AI. You can, however, continue to do the stuff you want to do and continue to learn as much as you can as a human, right? And that's what's important. Don't focus on the stuff you can't do, focus on the stuff you can, right? Like if you come into college with no experience, then find out what you want to do and learn on your own. Like it doesn't matter how old you are. In fact, like obviously it doesn't matter if you go to college or not, even because the day you decide to do something and the day you commit to do it is going to help you when you decide to do that, right? Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, of course, if you have no experience, I would actually recommend to, work with other students and just start a project or something, even if it isn't commercial, for example. Getting experience so you can show off the stuff that you have with, like, working with other people, because that is what people in the industry are going to want to look at. Like, not everything absolutely done by yourself, which I was accustomed to, but, working with other people so they see that you have at least some degree of experience, right? And let's say, at least for me, my best advice to you if you want experience is that every single employer in the world might find you unemployable, but you can hire yourself to become an owner of your own company and you can make your own decisions. I mean, that makes sense, right? So, that's kind of mindset that I took when I was making my own projects, my own game that I plan to sell. If no one's going to hire me, I'll hire myself. Because what else can you do at that point, right? So, in other words, take initiative, do stuff yourself, right? Of course, it's always important to work with other people, but, if you can't, it's probably because they don't see the stuff that you've been doing alone. So, if I were to ask someone to work with me, they'll be a lot more likely to work with me if they see the stuff I've been doing, rather than, I guess, just having nothing to show. They won't take me as seriously and they won't believe that I will actually finish something that's noteworthy. So